Welcome to Cast It to the King podcast show, wherever you want to call it. We're on YouTube and we're also on Spotify. So We're here with Mark Siebeling for this very eventful show that
we're going to get right into it.
Yes, we are. Yep. So rundown for today, we're going to talk about the fallout from the Tennessee Titans loss to the Eagles, which today's breaking news is definitely a fallout from that.
I would say so.
And we're going to talk about the college football playoff rankings and how we feel about the Final Four. Entertainment news with movies. We had a bunch of trailer drops for Transformers, Rise of the Beast, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and Indiana Jones 5. And we are going to, and if we have time later today, we're going to talk about. Have you seen Black Panther?
And I saw the new Black Panther, but I did not
Black
see
Adam.
I did not see Black Adam.
All right, so we'll at least talk about Black Panther.
That's
then
fine.
Wakanda Forever.
Yep.
And also, lastly, to finish off this podcast in this show is feel good stories and
gotta love
like your own personal testimony. So there's a little bit of a short. I think. Can you hear yourself?
I can, yeah.
All right, I just lost connection for my end, unfortunately. All right, so you know what? If you can hear yourself, that's not a big deal. So
I can hear myself. All good.
All right, so I am okay. Okay, I'm back in. All right. So first off, breaking news today is that the Tennessee Titans have, and still I'm still befuddled. Man, it's still shocking to me to try to say Jon Robinson, our GM since 2016, has been fired today.
Yep.
Given his walking papers by Amy Adams Strunk, the Titans owner of the Tennessee Titans. This is coming off of a Philadelphia Eagles loss, who they just traded away this past offseason, A.J. Brown, to the Eagles.
Big deal right there.
And I don't know how I feel about this. Like, initially, I'm thinking... also Milo, my dog, if you can see him in the frame right there. So, great dog. So, he'll do that. So
it's all right.
He's just friendly.
He's saying what's up.
Yeah. So
he's saying he doesn't approve of the firing.
I don't know how I feel about either. I'm thinking from multiple angles of, geez.
It's crazy.
I am thinking on the bad side. Was this a power move by Mike Vrabel, or was this Amy Adams saying like she did with Mike Mularkey? And this is also nose to Todd Downey and Mike Vrabel, like everybody's on a short leash, and this should be our Super Bowl window.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. I think I got to say it looks like it's a result of maybe A.J. Brown, the treatment of A.J. Brown. I mean, A.J. Brown comes in and just stomps us this past Sunday, and it's just like almost like his revenge game against the Titans. I'm sure he still loves the franchise. I saw a post-game interview of him actually when he was doing that celebration, whipping the towel against the goalpost. He said it was, and then he hugged it at the end, and he was saying it's kind of like a love-hate relationship. I don't know if those are his exact words, but something of the sort. It's like he was whipping up on us, but he still loves us.
I mean,
we should have paid the guy, man. I mean,
at the time, if you were. And it's been documented by, you have A.J. Brown's side of the camp that say he wanted to get his fair share amidst of all the receivers that are getting paid this past offseason.
Yep.
And then you have the reports come out that he wanted $100 million guaranteed dollars. And even as much as I love, Titans haven't had good receivers since Nate Washington, Justin Gage, Derek Mason. Yeah, that's all the Titans since 2000.
Yep.
And then A.J. Brown comes in and usurps all of them, and he's our superstar wide receiver. But even I in this market, I'm like, and we just pay Tannehill $100 million himself. I'm like,
I know, but
you can go kick rocks, man.
Yeah,
you can go kick. Now I look stupid. Now everybody looks stupid because as one of my former bosses, he's actually a Washington Commanders / Redskin fan.
Okay.
And even he is saying, amidst of what the Rams did the past few seasons, the Eagles, the 49ers, they manipulate that cap for their all-in push. And if this is our Super Bowl year, then maybe that does fall on Jon Robinson to make his way with the manipulate the cap for at least this year and then push it off to next year. But man, that $100 million, Derek, that's the thing that that I will never understand. It was reported that A.J. Brown asked for $100 million guaranteed, but he didn't get that with the Eagles. So something tells me that when he was traded to the Eagles, he said, like the Eagles brass said, hey, we're going to pay you, but you're not going to get $100 million guaranteed. You'll get a $100 million contract, but you're not getting $100 million guaranteed.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what I guess the disconnect between his communication with the Titans and then the fallout, I guess, of A.J. Brown and us. But I mean, I think we should have paid the man what he wanted to get paid. I mean, we're paying Tannehill all this money, and Tannehill's not looking too hot.
I would have agreed with you a few weeks ago, and I think as he's coming off of that injury, which I would have said of a high ankle sprain, that's usually about 4 to 6 weeks, and he came back in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So even I still vouch that he came back too early. Whether that's pressure on his end because he's feeling still the lingering playoff loss of the Bengals over his head, and doesn't want Malik Willis to find even a hint of fire to steal the job from him.
Right.
Or even the coaching brass was saying, hey, we like trying to motivate him, like maybe like a shoulder bump of saying like, hey, we could really use you right now. Sort of thing. But ultimately with Tannehill, I would say right now, amidst the Eagles, the Eagles loss just highlighted a whole slew of problems outside the one problem that has been highlighting us even in our wins, is that our offensive play calling is too predictable right now with Todd Downey.
Yeah, we rely way too much on the run, and everyone knows it.
Yeah.
That's where A.J. Brown would, he did last year or however long he's been with us since his rookie year. He would, it was almost like they had to keep their eyes on him too, not just Derrick Henry. But now it's like all eyes are on Derrick Henry constantly. I think we rely way too much heavy on the run game.
That box gets stacked, and then they are daring us to throw the ball.
And we don't have anyone to throw the ball to.
To that, I would say yes and no.
Right, yes and no, but not in A.J. Brown.
Yeah, not in A.J. Brown, yes.
Right. Okay.
Traylon Burks, though, these last 3 games has really come on, though.
Yeah, he's going to be really good.
Yeah, he will be.
Yeah, he looks good.
So, an interesting stat that actually came out, I want to read it off right now.
What you got?
All right. Where was the stat? So, apparently, from, I'll give this guy a shout out, Jay Lamas 72 on Twitter mentions these stats about Tannehill. He is third in the NFL. He is third in the NFL per yard. Yeah, he's third in the NFL in 20-yard completion per attempts. He's first in the NFL in 40-yard completion per attempts. And also, with our Titans lackluster receiver core that people want to say, Chicken Conquo and Traylon Burks, our 2 rookie receivers, have receptions of 40-plus yards. 3 receptions of 40-plus yards. Only 5 other teams, the Bengals, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Broncos, have that stat. Now, the Broncos, they're nosediving, and Seattle is grinning on that draft pick they traded for. But the rest of them, they have high-powered offenses.
Yeah.
So that's not so much we don't have the weapons. It's that we don't –
play calling.
Yeah, play calling. It's too predictable. And what Vrabel said actually yesterday when he was almost asked verbatimly, do you think we need a change? Do we need a change of identity amidst these last few weeks of Derrick Henry not getting the ball? And in coach speak, he didn't say these word for words, but in his coach speak translated, he basically said, I'm running down with this Titanic ship with Derrick Henry, and if we lose, then I'll own up to it. Which we will see about that this offseason.
Yeah, you really can't completely blame him for that either. I mean, it's Derrick Henry, but
you cannot be, your game plan cannot be, let's pray to the heavens.
Yeah, that's true.
For him to break runs.
Right.
Because that has to open up with the passing game. And for a long time in our past happy NFL, we have not had a 3,000-plus yard passer until 1 year with Matt Hasselbeck, and then all the years Tannehill has been a full season starter with us. All the rest of the years has been run heavy with Malarkey, with Munchak, CJ2K, especially with Jeff Fisher at the helm.
Yeah.
And so the fallout, to kind of wrap this up, is if this is a result of Mike Vrabel doing a power hand and
Is that what you think, Josh?
That is
what you're leaning towards?
That's one of two scenarios. I'm leaning more towards what happened after we won against the Chiefs in the playoffs and then we lost to the Patriots with Malarkey, where she said ultimately, you got us this far, but you're not cut out to take us over the hump.
Right. Is this our cap? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I think amidst of recent draft classes and free agent signings and amidst of all of that, honestly, her firing him, I think I'm leaning more towards this is like a signal to Todd Downing and Mike Vrabel, not Shane Bowen. I think whatever happens with the coaching staff, he's staying because he's taken the defensive coordinator position the last 2 years and ran away with the top 10 and points allowed in the game the last 2 seasons. So I'm leaning more towards this is a signal to Todd and Mike saying, hey, you thought he was safe? Don't think you're safe.
Yep. I can see that.
So especially if we get bounced one and done, which funny enough, guess who we play first round if the playoffs were held today? Cincinnati. Again, so as if that wasn't karma kicking us in the rear end again.
Yeah.
We need to get beat by them twice.
Right.
3 times in a row, actually. No, 4 times in a row. I kept track. Vrabel is winless against the Cincinnati Bengals in his career as a head coach. Let that sink in.
You know who else is winless against the Cincinnati Bengals? Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes, yep.
Yeah, he is.
Exactly.
That's pretty crazy, I think.
Yeah, it is. Matchups.
Yeah.
The other scenario, I am praying this is not the case, is that Mike Vrabel pulled a power move to get his buddy from New England out of there. And he is in control of player personnel the way similarly to his former boss, Bill O'Brien, was in Houston. And if that is the case, there's no way Todd Downing is going out of there. But I have a hard time believing that Amy Adams is going to put up with Todd Downing being our offensive coordinator. She's going to probably at the end of the year, assume we get bounced out. Even if we win a playoff game, and it's like by a field goal or a touchdown.
Yep.
She will – there's no – with this roster and this coaching staff, there's no way we are constructed to go to a championship game or Super Bowl, which if we go to one of those two or win one of those two, that's the only way Todd Dowling's safe for his job. So I'm of the belief that Amy Adams is going to roll in there with Mike Vrabel, calling him in her office in Nashville, saying, hey, I like you. You are a great coach. You are a great coach for this team. But Todd Downing, he has got to go. And we are going to bring in a GM that's going to work hand in hand with you, and you're going to look for a better offensive coordinator and not hire anyone else in-house, even though Arthur Smith turned out to be a good in-house hire. But when Todd Downing was hired, Marcus Rowe, our coworker at Life Church, actually, Raiders fan, even he told me, and a whole bunch of Raider fans told Titans Forum saying, yeah, we had him as our OC after Derek Carr has MVP year. He was not a good coordinator. So we had our warning signs with Todd Downing, and we refused to listen to him. So I pray. I mean, so what do you think this is leaning towards with Robinson? You think it's just an isolated thing, or is this a sign of other personnel decisions coming?
I don't know. I don't know enough, I guess, to really say what I think, I guess, or say what
your honest opinion, assessing.
Okay, my honest opinion would be it's probably just like a solo, like he's just pointing that. That's like the only change that's going to be made anytime soon. Well, maybe not anytime soon. I think an offensive coordinator.
He's got to go. He's got to go by the end of the year. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I don't think it'll be like like trying to clean slate and move a bunch of people around. I think GM, offensive coordinator is probably the two that. Well, GM already has happened now, so it's just OC is next, I guess. OC's
next, or if one of the things I've said all year is in the defense of Todd Downing that Mike Vrabel seems to have for him, he is looking very, very reminiscent of Mike Mularkey when he was defending Terry Robisky as his offensive play caller when Marcus Mariota was not having that developmental hump that you would expect, say, a Sean McVay or a Matt LaFleur or even a Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan's taken an undrafted Mr. Irrelevant. He's taken Mr. Irrelevant, and he beat Tua and the Dolphins.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's one of those things where if Vrabel goes down with the downing ship, I would not be shocked if this turns in from Robinson, Downing, and Vrabel like a full purge, like fire sale of the coaching staff. Not so much the players, so much the coaching staff. Minus Shane Bowen. And one of the things that needs to be addressed, it's not being addressed so much that it should be, our player development, like our physical trainers, our player physical trainers, they've been there since 2019. Since 2019, we've had so many injuries left and right.
Yeah.
Our strength and conditioning coach needs to be gone.
That's a good point.
He needs to be gone because
I haven't heard anybody talk about that.
Folks going down with injuries with groins, hamstrings,
all of them.
Like that's not. I mean, the whack play of Burks with a concussion that you can't coach. That you can't.
Right.
That you can't avoid.
That. Yeah.
Like an ankle injury that Tannehill suffered when someone landed on him. That you can't control.
Yeah, it just happens.
But you can control the groin injury. You can control the calf injuries, the hamstring injuries with strength and conditioning. And outside of Derrick Henry with his freak knee injury or leg injury, whatever it was last year, because he's a workout machine.
Yeah,
he's a workout machine.
Right?
Everybody else needs and Taylor Lewan. He's always injury prone.
Yeah,
our strength and conditioning coach. If anything else, if Todd Downing doesn't go, he better be the one to go. At least our strength and conditioning coach.
I haven't heard anybody say that or talk about that. At least I guess that's a good way to look at things. It makes
details
sense.
And the details.
Yeah, it is. That's getting pretty detailed right there.
Yeah. All right. So next topic on hand: the football college playoffs is ready in the books with Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and Ohio State. Now, so you're the LSU fan.
I am an LSU
I am
fan.
a quasi Vols fan by way of my parents. I am not a diehard Vols fan because they have just sucked the last 20 years, in my honest opinion. And also,
it's not even your honest opinion. It's just true. It's just
it is
facts.
true.
Yep.
It is true. I mean, sorry if you're watching Vols fans out there, but honestly, it's. I would attribute it to like that 1 year with like those few years with Cam Newton and the Auburn Tigers.
Right.
You have the great run of 2-3 years,
right,
and then you're stagnant for so many years after that. So that's why, as a college football fan, because basketball they just turn it around super fast with players coming in and out of the door.
Right.
Versus football, if you get the right class, you're good for 2-3 years, unless you're one of these high-powered schools like LSU, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan. Right. Where talent's coming through that door, and you're gonna be constantly in the running for it.
All right, Josh. So we have December 31st, 3 p.m. We have TCU and Michigan. This line actually opened up as a Michigan minus 7.5.
Really?
Yeah, it did. And I think personally, it's gonna be a lot closer than that.
I do. I think it's gonna be a field goal game at the end.
I'm with you 100%. Now the other game, 7 p.m. same day. Ohio State, Georgia opened up at minus 6.5 Georgia. Now, I think that is accurate.
That is going to be the ultimate test to Ohio State because
100%.
As everybody knows infamously, the Big Ten Conference is not that competitive, ultra competitive like the SEC is.
Right, of course.
So if they get that knock on Georgia like they got that knock on Alabama as the 4th seed, then that Michigan-Ohio State game is going to be one for the books.
Yeah, I agree, but I hate to say it, but I think Georgia's going to run away with it.
I honestly think that myself.
Yeah,
so.
I think the TCU-Michigan game is going to be a ball game. Max Duggan, I love that kid. That kid, he plays with heart. He's the definition of he's just a dog. That TCU-Kansas State game, even though it didn't go TCU's way, that was a football game.
And a top 10 ranked opponent. And if we were in the expanded playoffs 2 years from now,
right.
Kansas State would be either getting that last seeded bye or they'll be the 5th seed as the Big 12 champions.
It was an awesome game. It was a great football game. Yeah. Do you think you agree with the selections of the 4?
I honestly agree with it for the sake of keeping Alabama and stingy fingers out of it.
Yeah,
the pleas that Nick Saban made on the airwaves were laughable because their best win was against a team they should have lost to in Texas all year. They should have lost to Texas. They should have lost to A&M.
That was week 2, huh?
That was week 1.
Was it week 1?
Week
Texas
1 of the
and
year.
Alabama was week 1? Wow.
Week 1.
What was that low-scoring game? Was it 21-19 or something?
It was around that range.
Yeah, something low. It was.
What's funny about that game, when I was watching, I'm like, we just got the news this offseason that Texas is going to be moving to the SEC next year. What better way to have our first win coming off of that news than against Alabama in the SEC? That would have been earth-shattering right there. But it didn't happen.
I mean, devil's advocate for Alabama. I'll help them out a little bit. Their 2 losses, right, are both on the last play of the game and by 1 point and by 2 points. They're both good football teams. So it's not like they're getting, blown out. They didn't lose bad like Tennessee lost to South Carolina or LSU lost to A&M. Or these big losses. They lost to good football teams and they played good football games. They just lost at the last second. And I kind of agree with you about the Nick Saban, the comments he was making about why they should be in, but he did make a good point. He said that if Alabama were to play, I think he was talking about before USC lost, it was USC and it was maybe Ohio State or TCU. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember. He said if we had to play either one of those teams, who would be favored in the game? And I would have to agree with him that I think if Alabama played either TCU or Ohio State,
it would be so close with the margins.
-1.5 maybe.
Yeah, but TCU, yes, I would give him that.
I think they'd be favored, and he makes a fair point. But sorry, Nick, you got 2 losses.
Yeah, you got 2 losses, and the team that also had 2 losses honestly should have been ranked ahead of him in Tennessee. Honestly, at number 5.
I could see that.
At number 5.
I think the thing that killed Tennessee, obviously everyone knows it, is Hendon being out. And South Carolina out. Also, speaking of Hendon being out, did you see the finalists?
He's not even in it.
I think that's robbery. I think that's bad. I see a lot of people. I mean, you go on Twitter when they tweeted it out, and every single reply is talking about Hendon.
My mind instantly went back. I don't know if you've seen online these SEC shorts. I forget who does it, but
educate me.
So it's. I forget what group is behind it. So they basically imitate like someone's wearing an Alabama shirt and they represent Alabama.
Yeah.
And so for the Halloween episode, they were coming off of the Alabama win going into the Georgia game.
Okay.
And these 2 volunteer fans are going through this haunted house saying and props are popping up about these scary figures of look out for Alabama, we're a dynasty.
Yeah.
And then there's Georgia with with the Jason face mask. It's like, I'm Georgia. It's like, and these Tennessee fans are like, this is the worst haunted house ever.
Yeah.
And then the last thing they stroll upon is just like this computer nerd. It's like, who's this dude? It's like, oh, I'm a sports writer from like the mountains and whatnot. It's like, this is the worst one yet. You forget one thing. I'm a sports writer with the Heisman vote.
That's pretty good.
And they're like, what?
That's pretty.
You're gonna vote for Hendon Hooker, right? He's the best player in the entire country. He's like, I did it to Peyton. Maybe I'll do it again.
Yeah,
and he flips over as the Michigan defensive back player for old times.
That's bad, man. That is bad. They robbed.
That wasn't
my
foreshadowing.
guy Hendon. I hate to say it. I loved watching that guy play. It's sad to see him. Sad to see him get hurt. Sad to see him lose that season. That was a great season by Tennessee. All the Tennessee fans out there, good job. You guys were due. 3 years ago, you were wearing brown paper bags to your home games, and now you're saying you're the best team in the country. And it's fine.
Yeah, and honestly, when the news came out 2 years ago that they bought out, I forget who the last head coach was, when they bought his contract out, Hugh Freeze was actually, he wasn't on the market, but he was my number 1 pick for Tennessee
Auburn
to go
just
after.
hired Hugh Freeze. Did you see
exactly.
that?
Auburn bought him out of his contract from Liberty, but ultimately he stayed at Liberty, and Tennessee didn't buy him out of his contract from Liberty and hire Josh Heupel. And honestly, I'm like, and I think all Tennessee Vol fans
about a good hire, by the way.
Now it's a good hire. At the time, fans were like
great hire now.
There's better options out there. Why do we go with him? Oh yeah, that makes sense because the director of player personnel was with him down in Florida, essentially. So he hired his buddy. similar to Jon Robinson. He hired his buddy from New England, Mike Vrabel. So circle back to that. Yeah, now it's a good hire.
Yep.
So it's gonna depend on who's the quarterback for the Vols next year. They have
Joe Milton, or is it going to be Nico, the new guy on the block?
The new guy from I think he was number 1 ranked
he's a stud.
quarterback. So maybe the two of them duke it out, but whoever gets Hendon, I do not think draft wise Hendon Hooker is a first round.
No,
I don't.
No,
Maybe with the Heisman, like say he's got the Heisman, he's not injured, they're in a playoff.
There, maybe, yeah, but none of those things are true.
But now, no. Unfortunately, he'll probably, at best, maybe a second, third.
Maybe the Titans will pick him up.
Golly, if they pick him up, then that is the ultimate slap in the face to Malik Willis. Unfortunately,
yeah.
I lived in Virginia for 10 years. My sister goes to Liberty University, and I saw Malik Willis in person a few times. One against Middle Tennessee. And he actually had a dud of a game passing the ball. That was his worst game of the year, actually.
Really?
But passing the ball, people say Hugh Freeze's offense is like pass happy. There's no college element. Well, tell that to Auburn because they think differently about that with him. So, again, that's just a matter of play calling, of utilizing Malik Willis' skills. And that's the thing. I did not want Malik Willis for 2 reasons to see the field this year. First reason, he's super raw. He is super raw. 2, we have a horrible offensive play caller. Mm-hmm. I do not want him, I did not want Todd Downing to touch him, literally on the field. And the way they used him in gadget plays was just, what was it, the game against the Colts?
I'm not sure.
On the jet sweep or something. No, it's against the Broncos. No, they didn't use him on a jet sweep against the Colts. It was the one against the Broncos where they brought him in as a wildcat kind of quarterback. Tannehill was out wide, I believe, and the handoff was botched to Derrick Henry or Hilliard, and it was a turnover. And the camera was panned to him on the sidelines. I'm like, that dude's confidence is shot.
Yeah, done.
Completely shot.
Done.
You cannot play him for this rest of the year, barring another injury to Tannehill.
Done.
Yeah. I honestly, I see some potential in Malik Willis, given the right play caller. Maybe that also needs to be in hand with an overhauling of Mike Vrabel and bringing in an offensive-minded head coach. Because outside of Sean McDermott in Buffalo right now, all the rest of these defensive play callers as head coaches, maybe not Saleh in New York right now with the Jets. But generally, these defensive-minded head coaches do not adapt well with their offenses. And that's the thing that you see the trend of. These offensive play callers make good head coaches.
Yep.
Because you'll have a coordinator go off, be a head coach, but the system will still be the same with said head coach. They'll just bring someone else to implement the system.
Yep.
And so...
anything else you want to talk about college football?
College football. The memes that haven't or should be going around of Tennessee and Clemson in the Orange Bowl.
It's the orangest bowl of all time.
Exactly.
Miami, Florida. I mean, it's going to be. What do you think that's going to look like, Josh? What are your predictions for that game?
I think.
I wish there was a line out for that.
The betting money, I would assume is Clemson. I would assume the betting money is Clemson.
I mean, no Hendon Hooker, so.
I think if they. Again, it's Vanderbilt. They beat 60-0, I believe.
Yep.
So, Tennessee Vols football. As I pull up the last game against 56-0. Yeah, Joe Milton only threw for 147. Oh yeah,
okay.
They've
actually got a line out for this game already. Okay,
what's the line?
-6.5 Clemson.
Yeah, I think that's being generous to Tennessee. I would think the line would be 10, 12.
Oh, listen to this right here. Alabama, Kansas State. That's a bowl game. Guess what the line is for that? -3.5 Alabama.
What? You know what? Against tougher opponents, I'm not shocked by that.
Kansas
I'm
State,
not shocked by that at all.
Giving
Against
too much
tougher.
credit to Kansas State.
No, it's not a testament to Kansas State. It's a testament to how Alabama can't close out against teams they should be beating.
I disagree still.
They should have whooped Texas. They kept them in the game. They should have lost to them. They should have lost to A&M on that final play. Kept them in the game for so long.
Mark my words right here. Minus 12.5 Alabama. Hammer it. Lock it in. That's the spread right there.
Well, luckily, this is not a betting.
Yeah, okay.
This is not a betting
Well,
show.
if anyone out
I would
there-
be losing money left and right. My wife is the better than me.
Okay, well, if
So-
anybody out there is a better, put your money on Alabama all day. Alabama's.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying
If
this.
you could
I'm just
alternate
saying,
spread that minus 12.5 Alabama. Sorry.
I think I ultimately
Statement win for Alabama.
I ultimately think Alabama will win. I'm not
Yeah,
saying they're incompetent of winning.
you just don't think they'll win big.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
it'll be
that's fair.
It'll be close,
That's
and
fair.
maybe Kansas State will have like a late lead, and Bryce Young will make his. Is he even playing the game? Bryce Young,
Ooh,
or is he sitting out? Because
maybe
that could be
maybe that's why the line's so low.
maybe Bryce Young.
Hmm.
Are you playing? Let's see what we got here. And there's nothing on here that I see. Oh, wait. Is this? Oh, no, that's the Heisman stuff. Oh, I did not know that Bryce Young was snubbed from the Heisman finalist. I did not know that.
I think Max Dugan will win the Heisman, honestly.
Yeah, at this point with Hooker and Young out, yeah, he'll probably win it.
And I think everyone just loved watching the way he played last Saturday against Kansas State. Just you could just tell how much he cared.
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch these games, though. I'm a college football sucker, way more than NFL. I know way more about, I care way more about college football.
I
than NFL.
I
I get what you mean, though. Like, you like watching the football, but it's hard for you to support a fan base. because
Exactly.
of the downfall.
I watched that Tennessee-Alabama game from start to finish. That was probably I still have to debate going back and forth in my head. Is that better than the Texas USC Rose Bowl game? I remember watching that from start to finish.
I don't remember that one.
That was the one where USC was won back-to-back years, and then Texas and Vince Young
Oh yeah,
crushed him for
I didn't watch
third,
that game.
denied him a third straight year. So
I don't know.
That was
I was in Knoxville for that Tennessee Alabama game this past year, and it was wild.
did you storm the field?
I didn't go to the game. I wasn't at the game. Tickets were too expensive, but I was there. I was
Not
there
as
with
expensive
somebody.
as the Georgia Tennessee game. Cheapest
Oh, yeah,
one was
I
like
saw that one.
$3,000.
What, really?
Yeah,
My gosh, that was also the most
cheapest.
yeah, that was also the most bet on game of all time, college football. The game had a lot of hype. but
I think at
again,
the time when
didn't
Tennessee
deliver
I think at the time when Tennessee was ranked number 1
for 4 days.
for 4 days, yes.
all right.
For the time they were ranked number 1, I thought it was a colossal mistake by the committee. By the committee, in this sense of you have the national champion
Yeah,
undefeated, and
Right.
your top. They
was
pretty much
disrespectful.
they've been one in
Yeah,
the AP, and then a college football ranking comes out, and they're bumped
Right.
to 3.
And you know what's crazy is Alabama started the year out at number 1 over
But
Georgia.
but then you saw, then the
Right after-
AP saw Texas,
Yeah,
A&M,
exactly. I know.
and another
But it's
game,
just like
and
Georgia-
then they got demolished by Tennessee.
Georgia should be
defensively.
offended. I mean, coming off being national championships and their quarterbacks returning, and they're not number 1.
That was
in
a
the
slap to
nation.
their face.
I
So
agree.
yeah, that was whiteboard material
Yeah. Okay.
for sure for Georgia. Unfortunately,
Yep.
that game actually started out pretty interesting on an opening drive fumble, but
By
Tennessee,
Georgia, yep.
yeah,
That's about
Tennessee
it.
couldn't. Yeah, that was the only interesting part of the game.
Yeah.
All right, so we're making good time actually.
Cool.
So, have you seen the trailers from the list I sent you?
Yes, I have.
So-
But my
so-
only thing is I can't talk much about Transformers because I've never seen a Transformers movie.
Wow, really?
I've never seen one.
I will spare you the pain and misery. You can watch number 1.
Okay.
Do not watch 2, 3, 4, and 5. They are like garbage pile movies,
Okay.
script wise.
So the first one's good.
I could for me, yeah, first one I would argue is good as a first ever Transformers live action.
Is this
movie.
one the newest one?
The newest
coming
one.
out? Is
This
it-
new one is coming off of Bumblebee,
Okay.
which
I
was
didn't see
a
that either.
quasi prequel / reboot
Okay.
of the franchise, which was I think
Okay, so
which,
I only have
which
to
was
see the
I think
Bumblebee movie to understand what's going on in this movie. Kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
It picks up after the events of Bumblebee, essentially.
Okay, gotcha.
So, trailer wise, which one do you think stand out to you between those three that dropped during Brazil Comic-Con over a week ago?
Well, it's a tie for me because I'm a big Indiana Jones fan, and I love Harrison Ford. So, I think that's going to be a good movie. But Guardians of the Galaxy also looks good. I love Marvel, so I like all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. It was pretty funny. That trailer was funny. That Drax part was funny.
Oh my goodness!
And then there's like
was that a dodgeball or a basketball?
I don't know.
It sounded like a dodgeball.
It did sound like a dodgeball. And then I also think that they did like a little foreshadowing maybe of like we're gonna get to see Rocket's like origin story. Did you see that part?
Yeah.
That looks pretty cool.
They have teased that behind the scenes.
That'll be cool to see that, I guess. Guardians of the Galaxy. I think those are good movies. I like those movies. Lighthearted, fun.
Yeah, I think coming off.
What was your favorite?
Honestly,
you smiled at me when I was talking about Indiana Jones. What you didn't like? You don't like Harrison Ford?
I don't mind Harrison Ford. Okay. I think
you don't like the Indiana Jones movies.
I'm not the biggest. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not the biggest fan of them. Like I remember. Which one was it? Which one was it with the Jesus chalice? Which one was that?
Oh, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. That one was my favorite.
Well, that was when they opened up the the Ark of the Covenant, right?
Ark of the Covenant. That's what it was.
Yeah. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're.
Wait, was that it? No. Last Crusade.
Was that it? Is that it?
Yeah, with the Jesus chalice.
That's yeah.
We're like drink from the chalice that Jesus drank from.
We're talking about different movies. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think maybe that one was my favorite.
Might just be a little nostalgic for me because I watched all those movies when I was pretty young. So
yeah,
Harrison Ford back in action. You gotta like Harrison Ford.
How do you forget the events of number 4 with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull with Shia LaBeouf? It seems that's what they're doing, like doing a big time jump.
Is it?
That's what I indicate because Shia LaBeouf isn't in the movie. If you remember what happens at the end of the last movie, like the fedora lands at his feet, like symbolizing like the passing of the torch, or the hat in this case, the hat and the whip.
I know exactly what I got you now. So it's like he's pretty much erased now. Like what happened to him?
Exactly.
Okay, I didn't even pick up on that.
The one thing I will say I'm interested in this movie is that the director James Mangold is coming off of Ford v Ferrari and Logan, so that's never a bad thing.
Ford vs Ferrari is a great movie.
Yes, it is.
I love that movie.
That is never a bad thing to
be
coming off to be coming off those movies.
Yep.
So that's the one thing I would say that that movie has going for it. I love Bumblebee so much. That movie was so good by Travis Knight coming off of a animated movie. That was actually his first live action.
So much. What do you love about Bumblebee so much? The movie or the character?
It's not the character. It's the story.
Okay.
Involved around Bumblebee.
Can you give me like a 1-minute rundown real quick, or for anybody else that haven't heard it either?
So this takes place somewhere in the 70s. I want to say it's the late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
And it takes place on accurate Cybertron at the time, like cartoon accurate, like Cybertron from the animated shows.
Okay,
the designs are nostalgic based.
Okay.
And basically, I mean, it's a reboot, but it's set in the like if you wanted to link the first Transformers movies and Bumblebee, you could. Mm-hmm. But that's not what the studio.
Stretch.
Yeah, but that's not what the studio indicated after the movie came out. Leading up to the movie, they said, "Yeah, this is a Transformers prequel." Afterwards, with the critical success, actually the first critical success of the movies, of all the Transformers, they said, "Yeah, this is a reboot." This is a reboot. Basically, it gets stranded on Earth after, like, his memory loss systems happen.
So he's a car, right?
He's he gets stuck as a car. Yeah. The bug.
Okay.
The yellow bug.
Bumblebee. That makes sense.
I think Haley Steinfeld. Yeah. Let me double check my people's names. Bumblebee movie. Who was it? Haley Steinfeld. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This character. The character she played was Charlie, and It's the script and the directing that just captivated me because Kubo and the Two Strings was Travis's Knight's last movie that he directed. And if you've seen that,
I don't even know what that movie is.
It's an animated like stop motion movie.
Oh, okay.
That he made with his.
Have you seen it?
It's a great movie.
Wow, really?
It got Oscar.
Let me
buzz.
write this down.
It got Oscar buzz. I mean, yeah.
Get this for me. I want to. If you say it's a great movie, I believe you.
Kubo and the Two Strings, a 97 critic rating and certified 86%.
Wow.
On Rotten Tomatoes.
Kubo, Kubo.
Yes.
Okay, Kubo.
Out of 25,000 audience
So you
rating.
suggest everyone to watch it? You'd suggest everyone to watch it?
I would suggest if you have not seen that animated movie, Kubo and the Two Strings, watch that.
How long is it?
The movie? Oh, the runtime for the movie.
Yeah.
Or Bumblebee? Are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about Kubo. Is it like a short film or is it a long movie?
It's a movie runtime. It's an hour and 41 minutes.
Oh, so it's like a normal movie.
It's a normal movie.
Oh, I thought it was
Bumblebee
like a
was close to, I want to say, 2 hours long.
Okay.
And so, their Decepticons find them on Earth in Bumblebee.
Yeah.
And ultimately, Bumblebee is on Earth, escaping from Cybertron from the Decepticon takeover.
Okay.
Which was hinted in the first Transformers movie. Which again, if you want to tie it together, you
right,
can.
Right.
But it's
a
honest,
stretch.
yeah, it's good to know that it was talked about in the first movie to where when they rehashed it again in the reboot, kind of like how they rebooted Spider-Man twice. It's like, yes, we know who Uncle Ben is, and we know he gets shot and whatnot.
Right.
And that propels Peter to become Spider-Man. Like that sort of thing.
I got
with
you.
Cybertron and whatnot.
Okay.
So ultimately, in the end, climactic battle, the Decepticons do not get the signal out to come to Earth because that's where Optimus Prime is coming. Hence, he indicated that the Bumblebee post-credit scene ends with Optimus Prime finding Bumblebee and a whole bunch of what looks like Autobot, like asteroids coming to Earth now.
Are they enemies?
No, they're Autobots are allies.
No. I'm saying Optimus Prime and Bumblebee.
Yeah, they're best
enemies?
friends. Yeah.
Oh, they're best friends.
They're best friends.
They're not enemies?
No, they're not.
Oh, okay.
So that's a good watch, which you can find on Paramount Plus or Amazon, wherever your preference
Might have to watch
is.
that.
So Transformers: Rise of the Beast. This again.
Are you going to watch it in theaters?
I am going to watch it because Michael Bay is not. This is the second straight Transformers movie. Michael Bay does not have his hands directing this movie or have his hands in the script.
Not a fan of Michael Bay.
I'm not a fan of Michael Bay Transformers.
Post
the first
are those
movie.
2, 3, 4, 5?
He did the first one. He did all of them prior
Just
to
the
Bumblebee.
first one's the best one.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So prior, yeah.
What about Guardians? Let's talk about Guardians.
Guardians. James Gunn. There's nothing wrong with that man. He's his unique directing style. There's nothing wrong. You can go with him because with James. Have you seen Suicide Squad?
Of course.
The recent one. Bloody gloriousness that resonate with me as a 90s rated R movie.
You heard it. You heard it here. Bloody glorious. What'd you say? Bloody gloriness?
It's bloody glorious.
Bloody glorious.
Yes.
Okay.
And again,
bloody glorious.
Wow. The movies.
I know exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about when you say that. It was I liked the first. Did you like the first Suicide Squad? It was all right. Second one was they're pretty equal in my opinion.
If you hear the behind the scenes stuff, which I heard, which they literally locked out the editor of the movie and brought in a trailer company to edit the movie.
Yeah.
Which shows.
What is that about?
And it was coming off of the heels of Batman vs Superman, which got critically hammered.
Ugh, that's a bad movie.
And then they quickly did reshoots and
that was a bad movie.
And they tried to emulate coming off like Guardians 1 came out in 2014.
Great movie.
And Suicide Squad was announced like in 2015-ish as like a response to that, saying, here's our version of Guardians. And then they went into 2016 with research, like, let's make it as close to Guardians as with the soundtrack, with the editing, with the stylistic editing of the movie.
Kind of comedic relief a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Not as good.
And then they ultimately bring in James Gunn to the sequel to the movie.
Yeah, look at that. Guardians is great. I think it's a great series. Is that the right word for it?
Yeah, series of movies.
Yeah, great. I think they're awesome.
Yeah.
They're hilarious.
They are hilarious. The story of Chris Pratt, Gamora is going to be interesting because this is not the Gamora that our timeline Gamora. Remember, this is a different timeline Gamora coming off of Endgame. So that's going to be an interesting dichotomy of does she fall back in love with Peter?
I haven't thought about that. This is the first time we've seen them since Endgame, right?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, snap. Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
So this is post. So again, this movie is going to be post Endgame.
That's why he opened up by saying you haven't seen us in a long time.
Yeah.
I didn't even. I feel stupid for that.
You know what? That line. I did not think about that line in the trailer.
Why?
Maybe I'm starting to think now he's talking to Gamora about that. Maybe that's the scene where he has with Gamora saying that.
Yeah, that's a good.
But
point
she probably
right there.
but ultimately she barring some like sub movie plot. I mean, Adam Warlock is going to be in the movie, so maybe there's a subplot with him where he can trigger the memories of this universe's Gamora, and then just I'm not very vast with Adam Warlock's power. Outside of the fact in the comics he had the Mind Stone as part of those 6 Infinity Stones, but they gave that to Vision in the movies.
Right.
And so Adam Warlock, that's going to be interesting in what they do with him in the movies. But yeah, I love the first movie. Second one, again, I like it. I can watch it. It's not better than the first movie.
Nope, I agree.
So third one is going to be watchable because this will be James Gunn's last Marvel-related property, because right now he is the head honcho over at DC Studios now, being helmed up by Warner Bros. Discovery, which they spun off to as their own studio. Okay. So going forward, after Guardians 3, anything DC-related, James Gunn's going to have his fingers on as their head honcho, their Kevin Feige of what Marvel has, essentially.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
What do you want to wrap it up with Black Panther?
Wrap it up. Yeah, we'll quickly wrap it up with Black Panther.
So you saw Black Panther, yeah?
I saw Black Panther. Black Adam came out first in October. Black Panther.
Did you watch
came
that,
out.
Black Adam?
Yes, I did. I watched Black Adam. I saw Black Panther first.
Okay.
And then I saw Black Adam.
Okay.
Because the critics were divided, like say 47, 48%.
Yeah, but Black Adam did terrible in the box office, right?
But yeah,
like made half of what.
Do you attribute that to previous content of like, because they're coming off of, because Black Adam, I think, is coming off of Suicide Squad, which was a HBO Max quasi same release, which you could watch for free on HBO Max, which is something Pixar and Disney's going through right now, I would imagine, because you have trained your audiences to stay home and wait for these movies to come out for free 45 days later. So that's going to take some time for adjustment. That could be a factor. I do not believe it is a staying power on The Rock's star power, because that Fast and Furious spinoff made money.
Yeah, it did.
So
it's The Rock, But I mean, all right.
So Black Panther. What are your thoughts on it? Wakanda Forever. It's okay if you don't like it, because
I know I don't like it. I'm just trying to figure out a number.
Good.
I'm thinking a generous 6. All of 6 out of 10.
A generous 6.
I thought it was I thought it was extremely dragged out. It was way longer than it needed to be. And I thought the main villain, I thought he was great.
Antagonist, he's not.
Whatever.
Well, yeah,
okay,
the antagonist. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I thought he was great, but I thought I don't know. It felt like, I sat in the theater and I watched the Avatar trailer. And then I get into the movie and I'm like, these people are like avatars. That was my thought process. It's like blue people coming out of the water, riding on animals.
No, they're blue people out of the water. Okay. They have to get in the water.
Whatever, same thing. Yeah. And they're riding on animals. I'm like, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of weak. Whatever. It's obviously not going to be the same without Chadwick Boseman. So,
do you think they should have recasted?
I don't think they could have recasted.
I think they could have.
And who?
Whatever great actors out there. My personal pick would have been John David Washington.
And just pretend like nothing happened?
Yeah. They've done it before. They're doing it now with Harrison Ford. He's replacing William Hurt, who plays General Ross in these Marvel movies, and they just recasted him after William sadly passed away from us.
That's different, though.
So that's the thing I need to understand. What's different about this situation?
Because, okay, Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther was so iconic.
Yeah.
Very iconic. You see him more without his mask on in pictures, I feel like, than you do with his mask. You know what I mean? Like, it was just the face of the movie. And it was like the first one, and it was a huge movie. What year did that one come out? I don't remember.
2018. It was a few months before Infinity War.
And everyone loved it. It did great. I mean,
he first appeared in Civil War 2 years before.
Okay, yeah. That's what I'm.
That was his
I'm
initial
introduction.
Yeah.
And so when that movie finally came out, there was so much anticipation about that character and about that story, and it resonated with everyone. Everyone loved that movie. Who didn't like that movie? I don't know a single person that didn't like that first.
The only criticism I will have with that movie was
the first one.
Yeah, the only criticism I will have with that movie is the CGI in the finale fight with that underground train that was going back and forth with them.
Oh, yeah.
Between him and Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
So that's my only criticism of the movie. But Ryan Coogler, who wrote,
I thought that movie was great. I thought it was an incredible movie.
Coming off of Creed.
Look, 6 might have been a little stern for the new one. I just thought it was long. You got to agree with me there. It was long.
It could have been cut.
And the plot was like, it was all right. Like, they resolved what they could have resolved way earlier in the movie. And I guess they were hinting at that. What was his name? I don't know.
The antagonist?
Yes.
Namor.
But what were they calling him in the movie? It was something like
funny enough, the name they call him is actually, and I did not know this until someone pointed out to me, it's a Star Trek character name.
What, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Namor is what you're saying?
Yeah, his country's shoot, who was it? What was it?
Whatever. Okay, Namor.
Yeah, I can't think of the name.
They hinted at. I guess they were hinting that he's going to come back and do whatever. Like, he's not actually fully surrendered. But I'm like, I mean, that was just, they could have done.
If
that.
you know,
they could have gotten to that earlier.
For those that know the Namor character, he will be back in future movies, especially in future Fantastic Four.
Also,
movies.
I hate to say it, but I thought the wings on the ankles was stupid. I mean, I guess that's what they did in the comics, but it was dumb. Sorry,
I don't recall that.
You don't remember the wings being on his ankles?
I'm not a big Namor fan. I always thought Aquaman was the better sea character between Marvel and DC.
I had no idea who Namor was until this movie. So I was just shocked to see all the blue people coming out of the water.
When I played that Marvel Ultimate Alliance video game.
Yeah, see, I didn't play that.
A few years ago.
It was
over a decade ago.
It was an okay movie, but it just was not the same without Chadwick. I guess they could have recasted like Josh said, but I'm not a fan of that either.
Here's a dichotomy.
Because they recast for Captain America?
Yeah. They essentially replaced Captain America with Sam Wilson.
But it will never be the same.
Yeah,
maybe that was a bad example. Thor. No.
Chris Hemsworth is like...
Chris Hemsworth is not even Chris Hemsworth anymore. He's just Thor. When I see Chris Hemsworth somewhere, I'm like, oh, that's Thor.
Well, then how about this?
Okay.
Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man.
That's different.
Andrew Garfield.
Different. It's different. It's different.
Heath Ledger.
It's different. And
the original Joker from Michael Keaton. Like, why am I forgetting the name?
But it's different. It's not the same. It's
Dumbledore, the actor for Dumbledore from the first two Harry Potter movies.
I haven't seen those movies.
You have not seen Harry Potter?
None. Zero. Haven't read any of the books.
So similar thing happened with Harry Potter with Dumbledore.
Okay, we're not talking about
And the actor sadly passed away. And what did the studio say? The studio did not say, we are not going to recast him. We're going to honor him by recast. No,
Is Dumbledore not the tiny little creature?
No. He's just like, people have compared him to Gandalf.
Dumbledore. But you could put a costume on him. You can't. Chadwick Boseman, what are they going to CGI his face to make it look like
I
him?
am not saying they CGI him. No. I'm not saying they CGI him. Yeah, this dude.
Oh, that's easy to recast. He's just an old white guy with
a
beard.
Yeah, there's the two actors right there.
They look the same.
Richard Harris and Michael Gavin. And you're telling me...
They look the exact same.
And you're telling me who my pick for Black Panther, you're telling me that this talented actor and John David Washington, who was coming off a Tenet, a Christopher Nolan directed movie, could not take over the reins as a good T'Challa.
Okay.
I'm not saying replace. I'm not saying replace. If you've seen his acting, especially in Tenet, most people don't like Tenet.
I haven't seen Tenet.
Tenet is the recent, most people probably haven't because it came out in 2020 and COVID.
Okay.
With restricted theaters at the time. But that movie and the previous movies he's been in, his talent is superb. His father is Denzel Washington. And
Wait, what? Whoa.
Yes, exactly. His father is Denzel Washington.
All right, Josh, I'll give you this one. John David Washington could be the next Black Panther. That's all you had to say.
His father,
all you had to say was he was Denzel's son.
Who his father is irrelevant.
No, it's not.
But
Denzel
I mean,
Washington's
in
the best.
in this sense, it's irrelevant.
It is. I'm just kidding around, but
in this sense of
I love Denzel Washington.
when Chadwick was asked about how do you go about portraying T'Challa in Black Panther, he said he drew inspirations from others in film, and he name dropped Denzel Washington.
Boom. That's all.
So
that's all you need
to which
say.
I'm saying to myself, you have this great actor out there, cast him, and it's also a
Well, now we have T'Challa's son, right?
That is the ultimate. That's the ultimate like
That was
backdoor.
perfect.
I would say that's the ultimate backdoor hatch. Like if this reception was bad, like you needed T'Challa, that's the backdoor escape hatch of Secret Wars happens and they bring in a futuristic T'Challa that's his son, that's an adult into our main timeline. That is the escape chute.
Well, what if it was John David Washington? Would it make you happy? No, still no, because it's
not our
route.
T'Challa. It's not our T'Challa. It's not the Chadwick Boseman T'Challa that we have loved.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying you can't recast him because it's not our beloved Chadwick Boseman. You can't recast him. You heard it here.
Hey, we have opinions. We have opinions.
I know. I'm just messing around. David, okay, I'll give it to you. John David, he could do it.
So, I mean,
they're both great looking guys.
Yeah, there you go, right there. Daddy and son.
I'm not gonna lie, Josh. When you just pulled up that picture, I thought that was Chadwick Boseman.
So I will save that picture
because it was far away.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
If you pulled it up, and I thought it was like from this angle, I thought it was John David Washington and Chadwick Boseman. I was like, whoa. Mm-hmm. All right.
I bring that up with Black Panther because the story could have used him. It missed him. How they killed him off, or how they died him off. I don't want to say killed him. That it was
the sickness.
That was sickness.
Perfect.
What illness overcame the power of the herb? He was thrown off a cliff in the first movie and lived.
Yeah, but they didn't.
His sister was impaled and lived.
But what are they supposed to do? What are they supposed to do?
Tell us what happened.
What would you like to? Well, in a perfect world, in that movie, what would you have? If you're the director, Josh Mickle as the director, what are you saying that happens to Chadwick Boseman? What are you saying happens?
If I had a gun held to my head and someone said to me, he is not being recasted. You have to kill him off one way or another.
Okay,
I would go the way of the illness. I would
exactly.
That's essentially what they did. They killed him off.
You had to kill him off. Okay, kill him off sounds so wrong.
Exactly.
But, okay, you had to get him out of the movies with sickness because that's what happened in real life, and it would be insensitive to do anything else. I think. What are they going to put him in some big fight scene and he dies? No, you don't want anyone beating him.
We've seen that in movies before where it's someone's backside.
You don't want. Yeah, but that's weak. You don't want that happening.
No, that would have been the ultimate disrespect.
I agree. I think the sickness is the way to go.
Explain what that's.
I don't know the logistics, Josh.
Here's the logistics you run into. Is one, this sickness just overcame the power of the heart-shaped herb, which grants you the Black Panther powers of essentially invulnerability, barring 6 Infinity Stones snapping out of existence. What is this disease foreign? Is it a danger to the Wakandan people themselves?
Yeah, you're right. They could have touched on that a little bit.
Yeah. If they would have touched up on that, it would have been more understandable.
I'll give it to you, Josh.
What did they do? They said, oh, he sadly passed away.
And they did it
Cue a funeral scene.
And they did it in like 4 minutes. Yeah.
Exactly. Cue a funeral scene after that.
Yeah. I guess that's fair. I still, yeah. They could not, let's at least get this straight. They could not have done a fight scene.
No.
That would have been wrong.
Yeah. What you could have done maybe is, since they're doing the whole multiverse stuff right now, is say, you see his backside, his face is blurred because of all the motion and whatnot. And he's in a fight with, like, say, a multiversal villain or some sorts, and he gets trapped there and whatnot, and we don't see, and we don't see him again. But that ultimately says they're going to recast him.
Yeah, but then his sister couldn't have became the new Black Panther because Black Panther still exists. So why would they need another Black Panther?
They teased there's going to be another one with M'Baku at the end challenging for the throne.
You think there's going to be 2 Black Panthers?
That's what they set it up to be. I don't think there will be. But they set it up to where M'Baku is challenging for the throne and Shuri isn't there.
I guess. Okay.
So, also another logistics thing. They spoiler alert for the Black Panther 2 movie, they recreate the heart-shaped herb with a mineral from Namor that ultimately created him as a mutant, the first name drop mainline MCU mutant in in the universe.
Whoa!
And so she was able to use that that vibranium plant of sorts to recreate the herb. Does that mean that herb and future herbs makes you a mutant?
I don't know. I can't give you an answer.
I mean, that's a question I had, like, walking out of the theaters. I'm like, is she a mutant now, or is that connected?
I don't
or
know,
is that...
Josh. I can't give you an answer.
I know you can't.
That's getting too deep for me.
I know it is.
It was okay movie. I'll bump it up. After this conversation, I'll bump it up. 6.5.
Wow. I honestly did give it a 6.5 coming out of
Really?
theaters. I really did.
Okay, all right. So
like
you
a
acted
solid
like
6.
You act like I was crazy for saying 6.
It could have been, I say a solid 6 of, it is not Batman and Robin. It is not the worst of the worst of comic book movies out there.
Right. Okay.
I put it a 6 of, it could have been higher if a better script of how to write off T'Challa if you had to.
Yeah.
Or a better script if you recasted him. Or you get less of Shuri crying about how much her brother's dead like 5-6 times in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, we heard you the first 2-3 times.
It was a bunch of little mini breakdowns.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
I agree. It was
I
dragged.
know.
The whole movie was dragged out.
Like, it's one... Yeah.
Kind of thrown together. I agree. It was all right.
It might have been more fleshed out if she... but there's a time jump between Civil War and Black Panther because T'Chaka, their father, was killed. So if they had shown like some like breakdown with Shuri on that front, then maybe it'd be more understandable. But in this movie, she comes across as a crybaby.
Yeah.
For the first half of the movie.
I don't have anything else to say about the movie except it was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
As much as a flawed script Black Panther was, Black Adam's script was terrible. But I enjoyed the movie.
Okay.
That's weird.
Well, maybe I need to see this movie. I can't say anything
you
about
will
it.
You will laugh.
Okay.
You better laugh because there are some laugh out loud moments.
Okay. Some LOLs.
So, yes.
I love cracking up.
Like
I love laughing.
Like you're watching you have what you call like dumb fun movies.
Okay, yeah. Is that one of them?
I would put it in that category technically.
Love it. I love a good dumb fun movie. Don't you?
Yes, I do.
I feel good.
Like, I think Transformers 3 is dumb. I think Transformers 2 is dumb.
Yeah.
But I can enjoy Transformer action. I can rewatch them on YouTube later because of how awesome they are.
Okay.
All right, let's quickly wrap this up.
All right, let's do it.
All right, feel good stories. Right now at Life Church, we have Sounds of Christmas coming up. Big preparation, a whole bunch of filming. Apparently, for like one of the things they're doing is we're going to have like. And we're doing a lot of filming.
A lot of preparation.
So what it ultimately ends up in, I don't know because I'm not in that department. But it's a whole lot of people involved. So
okay, yeah, that's cool.
And so
that'll be cool.
It'll be the first one we do since 2019. I was not there for that.
And they're awesome. Yeah, they're fun.
I saw a little bit of it.
I don't know much about what's I don't do
what's planned.
For,
I don't know
media worship.
I don't know what's planned either.
I don't know what's planned. But apparently there's a big video that y'all should keep an eye out for.
Yeah. So
have you been doing a lot of videos? Is that what y'all were doing last night?
We were on Teleprompter Man apparently. So
nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Brian Petrie's he's the captain of the ship.
Of course he
is. He's awesome at what he does.
Yep.
So what feel good testimony do you think?
Feel good testimony.
Feel good testimony you want to share?
I don't know, Josh. I would say being invited on this podcast maybe. I've never done a podcast before. It's my first ever podcast. And I was honored to be able to come here and sit here. I think it's awesome. It's fun. Never had anybody ask me to be on a podcast before, so this is pretty cool.
Yeah,
cool
it is.
Experience. It's fun just talking about stuff.
Yeah.
Sports.
Hopefully some
I
more.
love sports.
Hopefully some more going forward. So.
Oh yeah, we can do some more for sure. I mean, that'd be it. And Christmas time. I love Christmas. So I was recently up in New York to check out our New York location. That's gonna be cool. That's feel good, I guess. That made me happy. it's going to be cool to have a,
My wife
campus
feels about New York the way I feel about Memphis. She loves New York. I don't know why.
Wow.
I don't
A lot
know.
of people love New York.
I don't
New
know
York's a cool
why.
place. Yeah, there's a lot of people there.
We were there for Christmas.
Oh, I bet that's awesome.
We were there just before Christmas. My wife had taken me there as a Christmas gift. We were going to see No Way Home in a Times Square movie theater.
Wow.
So
how was that?
So
amazing.
it was in a 4D theater.
Whoa.
So you want to take you want to bring it up another level. That was it right there.
Yeah.
I would not do
So that was like the Christmas present was No Way Home.
Going to New York and going to that movie theater because the tickets.
Was that the first time you ever saw the movie?
Yes.
Whoa.
So.
And then you walked out and you're in Times Square, huh?
You were in Times Square to get there. You need.
But after the movie, you walk out and it's like, whoa, I'm in New York.
Yes.
Spider-Man's in New York.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I was kind of like that when I first walked through New York.
Okay, all right.
Home Alone, Elf, Spider-Man.
All the movies.
Iconic, indeed.
Okay. Yep, that would be my feel good. Coming on the podcast, going to see what's going on in New York.
Yeah. Yes or no? Do you need a bachelor's or associate's degree to understand the subway system? I cannot understand the subway system for the life of me.
I don't know.
My wife,
does she figure it out?
She thinks it's.
I'm more of a taxi guy when I'm in New York than subway. Yeah, I don't know.
I could not. The subway, you have to walk up from underground, go a block across from you, to go back underground to go the other direction. That makes no sense.
Doesn't make sense to me either, man.
So, very excited. You mentioned New York. DC is going to be an interesting story for Life Church. So, going forward, when they launch that campus in 2023, my feel-good story, I would say, as you can see in the background, we finally got most of the Christmas stuff up, and
that's great, man.
And based off of
Christmas tree,
and you probably saw the lack thereof. There are no lights up outside, unfortunately. Yet,
I don't blame you.
Because
are you going to put them up?
I'm hoping to, but next year for sure. I'm putting them up like 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. Because of how busy because of how busy my schedule is with the church.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. Yeah.
And to try to carve out time to be with Megan, just to have us time.
Gotcha.
Versus just doing another chore in the household. Yeah, so that's my feel-good story.
2 weeks before Thanksgiving. You heard him. We'll hold you to that, Josh.
Yeah.
I'll see you a year from now. I'm gonna drive by your house, and if you don't have Christmas lights,
how was the drive, by the way?
Not terrible. 25 minutes.
Where do you live again?
Kind of Carville area.
Okay, so it's about 25, 30 minutes from here.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's my daily. Yeah, my daily drive is that back.
You got an hour of driving every day. 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back, huh?
Where we last lived, it was an hour there, an hour back.
Yeah, that's no fun.
Yeah, that's no fun indeed. All right, this will wrap up our.
Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Glad to have you on this podcast.
Hopefully I can be back.
Yes, hopefully have you back and others back as well.
Let's do it. All right.
This is Joshua Mickle and Mark Siebeling signing off.